Hi and welcome to another episode of Brooklyn's World. So I'd been having a pain in my side and it was right there. But I didn't know if it was just my normal pains being a bit more annoying than usual or if it was something else. So day 4 of this pain that really was not easing up at all, I decided that there probably was something wrong. So I called my doctors, but I wasn't able to get an appointment because they were full for days. So then I thought, I didn't really think that I needed to go to hospital for the pain, but I still thought that it did need looking at. So I called this new place priority care thing that is linked to the hospital to see if they would see me, because they're always advertising, come and see us. There's no waiting time, blah, blah, blah. So when I spoke to the lady, she's like, no, we don't see people with your symptoms. And that was it. I'm like, what's the point of you even existing if you don't see everybody? So after that, I pretty much gave up trying to get any medical help for that day. But the following day, which was day 5, I was still in a lot of pain and nothing was getting better and nothing that I was doing seemed to be taking the pain away at all. So I rang my doctors again and pretty much said to them, I'm in pain. I cannot see anybody, no one will take me. Can you please slot me in with a doctor somewhere? And fortunately, there was a doctor available. After the doctor had spoken to me and then done a bit of an examination, she told me that I had to go to hospital. So I said to her, I don't want to go to hospital. I don't think this is an emergency. I don't need to be in a hospital. If something was about to explode in my body, I think that it would have by now, since how many days have already passed. Can't I just go and get tests elsewhere around the place instead of going to hospital? She's like, no, I want this CT scan and an X-ray done right now. So I protested a little bit more, but she was not giving in at all, wouldn't write referrals for me to get all the tests done privately. So I pretty much had no choice but to go to the hospital. She wrote out a letter to the hospital and sent me on my way. So I went to the hospital and here's what happened. So I went up to the hospital as the doctor told me to, and I really did not want to go, and the weather was absolutely disgusting. It was freezing cold and absolutely pouring with rain. So I went into emergency and then I was waiting in a line. There was about 5 people in front of me, and then I finally got up to the triage and the lady went and took my letter and had a bit of a read. And so I asked her, can I go in next? And she's like, no, but I will put you as a semi-high priority and we'll give you some medication for your pain and nausea just while you're waiting. And I said, okay. I said, is there any other way that I can possibly get put up the queue a bit more? She goes, only if you stop breathing. And I'm like, I can do that. I can stop breathing right now if you want. She's like, yeah, no, don't do that. I really would prefer that you didn't. Just go and take a seat over there. So off I went, took a seat, waiting, sitting on horrible, hard plastic chairs that were just making my pain even worse for me being so uncomfortable. No sign of me getting any medication. The waiting room was absolutely freezing because they kept the doors open where everybody comes in. They just never closed. So all of that cold, disgusting, rainy, freezing air was just penetrating the entire waiting room, which made it even worse for me. After a while, I was really thinking that there's probably not much chance of me getting in quickly at all, because the waiting room was just getting more and more people in it. And even before I had arrived there was little old ladies sitting in wheelchairs, wrapped in blankets, sucking on green whistles, and they weren't going anywhere. So I thought, I really don't have any chance of getting in soon, and this is going to be a long wait. Fast forward 2 hours and I'm still sitting there in a lot of pain, absolutely freezing to my bones. Still no sign of any medication coming to me. And then a man came out of the emergency door and he asked for everyone's attention. So I'm like, oh, all right, let's see what this dude's got to say. So he introduced himself as the head of emergency and basically said that there are 90 people waiting to be seen at the moment, and most likely everybody will be seen well into the middle of the night and overnight. So if you really didn't have to be here, then please go home. So I took that as my cue to get out of there, because I was not going to sit there for who knows how many hours before I was seen for something that I really still didn't think that I needed to be in hospital for. Plus, any excuse for me to run away from a hospital is, perfectly fine by me. From the hospital, I went back to the medical clinic because I was going to see if the doctor that sent me up to the hospital was still there, but it turns out she wasn't. So they made another appointment for me the next day. The next day I returned to my doctor and she was mad. She was very unimpressed that I did not stay at the hospital. And even though I told her exactly what the situation was at the hospital, she didn't seem to care. All that she wanted was for me to have the tests that she had ordered, and I hadn't done that. After a little bit more telling off and a bit of, you do realise how serious this could be kind of talk, she eventually did write me a referral to get a CT scan. And this time she actually rang a place that gives CT scans just to make sure that I actually attended. The next day I had the CT scan, but I wasn't able to get the results for another 4 days because there was a long weekend, and then the day after the long weekend there were no appointments at the doctor. I saw a different doctor this time to get the results of the CT scan, and surprisingly to both of us, the scan revealed that I had a fracture in my T12. After a bit of a conversation with the doctor and her asking me, have I fallen or have I done anything to injure myself lately? And all of the answers I had for her were no, I haven't done anything. She came to the conclusion that this had probably happened because of my osteopenia, which was caused by huge doses of steroids for about 6 months when I was first diagnosed with lupus nearly 11 years ago. It was like my bone had just spontaneously combusted. The results of the CT scan didn't actually give the doctor any idea to why my side was hurting so much. So she wrote me a referral to go and get an X-ray. I have had the X-ray, but I don't have the results yet. And until I get the results, I guess I'll just keep carrying on as I have been doing. The doctor didn't tell me to do or not do anything specific for the T12 fracture, so I'm presuming that it's stable and doesn't need treatment and will just sort of heal itself over time. I have read that usually they take 3 months to heal, but knowing my luck, it'll probably take 6 months to heal, given the history that I had when I broke my arm. That was meant to be a 6-week heal, and mine took 20 weeks. So that's it for now. I'll just be continuing going on through my days, trying not to make my pain any worse, and see what happens at the next doctor's appointment. Thanks again for tuning into Brooklyn's World, and I'll see you next time.